right, Patrick. I got head coach Kevin Dresser here, and we're ready to rock whenever you are.
All right, if you have a question for Iowa State wrestling coach Kevin Dresser, please use the raise hand button in the participant panel. Coach, your first question will be from Ben Visser of the Cedar Rapids Gazette. Go ahead, Ben.
Hey, Coach, what's the excitement level like in the room for this weekend, and what are you hoping to find out about your guys?
Well, it's obviously a really big weekend. It's nice to be here in Ames to experience it. We're going to compete at 2 p.m. against Arizona State, and then at 4 p.m. we'll wrestle Missouri. So I know just in my fourth year here now that we've never had back-to-back matches like this at Hilton. So, I told our guys this is kind of indicative of what you could face at the NCAA tournament in St. Louis in March is, you get a high-quality guy twice in one day. And so from that perspective, it's going to be a huge test for us. I think our guys are super excited. We just had, we got done last night about 5 or 6, and we had a lift this morning, and so they're off the rest of the day, and then we're going to, hit it hard starting tomorrow. We'll have 2 workouts tomorrow. So I think they're really excited to wrestle and, some really good opponents. And so, if you look at the rankings up and down the line, it'll really be a good test for us.
And then switching gears a little bit to some injuries, what's Jarrett Dagan's status for this weekend?
Jarrett is back on the mat doing some light drilling. I'm not sure if we'll have him this weekend or not yet. We're going to kind of see. This will be a big evaluation week. We wrestled Marcus Coleman one match yesterday, and so he's looks like he's ready to go, and he could be present this weekend. And Sam Colbray is probably maybe just a little bit ahead of Jarrett in his progress, so we could see him this weekend. Again, a lot of it's going to be just on how we perform and how they perform this week. I'm big about seeing in the room before I even think about putting them out here.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Once again, if you have a question for Coach Dresser, please use the raise hand button in the participant panel. The next question will be from Jacqueline Cordova of Cyclone Fanatic. Go ahead, Jacqueline.
Coach, so will you plan on having Sam wrestle off on Thursday?
Probably not, no, just because I don't want to stress any injury that we might have right now. And we're, he looked really good last week. I just don't want to back up. So, that'll eventually happen as we get to the end of the month. We'll weigh in multiple guys at a lot of weights here this weekend and just kind of go on our gut in terms of who's, I feel is really ready to go health-wise, and then obviously, who's the best guy to put out there. So, we have to figure that out. Everybody that I mentioned that's a little bit banged up is going to have to wrestle their way back into the lineup, and I think that's just a good test for them. I think they'll find out that, they don't want to go out there either if they're not ready to go, and a wrestle-off is a good first step.
And then what would you say the feeling is with the freshmen preparing for this week? I know you haven't had much time, I guess, preparing since it is only Monday, but.
Well, we've obviously got some freshmen that are doing some really good things, and so we're going to have to lean on them this weekend again. So, and you know what? Who knows? Those guys might be the guys by the time we get to the end of the year. So, I told our guys, everybody, because of injuries and just a lot of close competition at weights, that January is going to be about wrestling off a lot, and this will be our third Thursday in a row of wrestle offs, and we'll have again this will be our third Thursday of wrestle offs, and we'll wrestle off till the end of the month until we kind of figure out who's going to be our guys.
What has it been like for you to be able to look at your lineup and be able to sit here and say, that you might have freshmen who are your guys at the end of the season? What does that feel like for you as far as in terms of your growth, I should say, sorry.
Well, I think that we probably didn't get a lot of credit, and that's fine, with our recruiting class that we brought in. I think all those guys, obviously or definitely flew under the radar a little bit and are making, had won some good matches for us early on. I think the real proof will be when we step out there, against a Missouri and an Arizona State, and then follow it with an Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. I mean, just those four dual meets are all top 15 programs in the nation right now, and so we'll learn a lot more about those guys then. But all those guys were under the radar guys. Obviously, Younger was way under the radar, but there's a lot of, those guys weren't all, guys that were first, second, or third in the nation at their weight. They were all pretty good, and, I think we did a good job evaluating them, and they're starting to make us look kind of good for whatever that's worth.
Thanks, Coach.
Our next question will be from Cody Goodwin at the Des Moines Register. Go ahead, Cody.
Hey, Coach. Appreciate you guys doing this. Do you have a tentative plan on who's wrestling off this Thursday, or do you know yet, or how do you figure that out?
Yeah, we do a little bit. We'll have another wrestle off at 125 between Mackle and Terrakina. Todd Small's on his way down, so he's going to have a shot to wrestle off to get to Reading. We got a really good guy there. And there's obviously a lot of competition there with Ramazan, so we'll wrestle that weight off. And Coleman wants to get back in the picture, so he'll wrestle off Fisher, I think, this week. And we've got a couple other kind of wrestle-offs for some 2 spots, because obviously we're doing a lot of 1 and 2s for the rest of the season. So that 2 spot's pretty valuable now for those guys that want to get in there and get experience. So it's a different year, and it's nice to be able to use more guys. But we got a lot to figure out yet.
Our next question will be from Sam Stuvey of the Iowa State Daily. Go ahead, Sam.
Hello, Coach. Tate Haney started the season 3-0. What have you seen from him on the mat that's led him to be successful?
He has had a very good start. I think we'll learn a lot about Tate this weekend and see how he competes at the highest level. He works really hard, and he's a guy that's I think excited about the opportunity. I mean, I think in the depth chart, he was a number 3 guy in the depth chart at the beginning of the year behind Colbray and Shapiro, and here he is. 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks in, and he's the number 1 guy. So that's a testament to him being ready to go when he got his opportunity.
And then to just kind of follow up on that, what's the next step for him?
Well, he's going to have obviously some wrestle-offs here as those guys get back into the lineup and some competition. Like I said, at a lot of weights. So, it's just about progressing and making the most of the opportunity when you get it. And so if you step out there this weekend and you got a couple top 15 guys in the nation, is go beat them, and really put your name out there.
Thank you.
We will go back to Ben Visser of the Cedar Rapids Gazette. Go ahead, Ben.
Hey, Coach, going back to some of the freshmen, how surprising, I guess, was it when they came in and they were this ready to wrestle? Because I think, and a lot of the times in wrestling, the immediate thought is to redshirt, let them grow a year, and then they'll hopefully be ready. But this class seems to be, I don't know, maybe more ready than usual. What can you say about that?
Well, I think you nailed it. I think we were, all 4 of those guys that we've talked about, Redding, Robinson, Terrakina, and Younger, all were guys that we had intentions of redshirting. But just for whatever reason, and this being an unusual year, the opportunity to use them has presented itself. And so we want to take advantage of that. I mean, it's going to be great experience for those guys. Next year we'll have to figure out if now we're going to redshirt them next year or how that's going to progress. But, it's a credit to them. They've obviously were pretty good high school wrestlers. And all of those guys, with the exception of Younger, got to Ames this summer and got with their teammates and found places and ways to train. And then when we hit when we got back together as a team, did a very good job, and very competitive right away when they stepped in the room.
Gotcha. And then switching gears, how important is this weekend for Gannon Gremmel? He's obviously got 2 really highly ranked guys.
I think it's a big weekend for Gannon. I know he's excited about it. He's got it circled, and he's excited about it. And, I think that's what makes Gannon good is if he's got something out there right in front of him in the near future. I'm hoping and thinking he's going to have a great week of practice because he's going to, hopefully be super focused.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Cody Goodwin of the Des Moines Register. Go ahead.
Ethan Anderson has had one heck of a journey when it comes to wrestling, just from losing in the state finals in a thriller as a senior. I think he was originally committed to Mizzou. He was down at Oklahoma State, then he came back home, and then he took a year off, and now he's back. And pretty neat little redemptive moment, I thought, for him on Sunday. Just beating who he beat and how he beat him, and he was clearly excited. How cool was that maybe for you to see, if you were able to see it, and just kind of what has it meant maybe to him more than to you guys to just be back in the room.
Yeah, I did get to see it out of the corner of my eye, and I was glad for him. You know, he came to me early in the week and said, hey, I want to wrestle this guy for this reasons. You know, he beat me in the state finals, and so Francis Dugan's just getting back in the lineup. I didn't think he was ready for 2 matches, and he's actually the number 2 guy there, so I felt like this was an opportunity to get Ethan, I guess, some revenge in his world, and so I could tell he was pretty excited about it, and you know, he's done a good job for us in the room. He's provided us some depth, and you know, if the guy can push himself, continue to push himself a little bit more, you know, he's not a bad wrestler at all. He could really progress. So hopefully that might have been a spark for him to get in there and compete hard, you know, for that spot.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, that's all we have for you, Coach. Thanks for your time today.
Yep, thanks, guys.